and welcome back to Have You Heard from us, The Social Shepherd. This is the weekly podcast about everything you need to know in social media for those of you who work in digital marketing. I'm Lucy, I'm Influencer Marketing Director, and this week I'm very excited to be joined by Becky and Katie. Hello!
Hi guys!
How are you both doing?
Good, thank you.
Good. It's been a busy week so far.
Yeah,
my first podcast.
Well, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Becky. I'm Senior Paid Social Manager.
Just got promoted.
Yeah.
I haven't congratulated you for this yet.
That's the first time I said senior.
Very well deserved.
Thank you.
And Katie, you're
Hi, I'm a returner.
seasoned
I've
guest.
been on 1 or 2 podcasts.
welcome return. A welcome return. I would like to acknowledge I am not Jack, I am not Zoe, because they are not here at the moment. They are getting married. So all the best to them. Any words of advice?
Well, neither of us are married.
Yeah,
so I don't think we
actually
can,
we have no.
you can
Keep
comment
doing
on
your
that.
marriage advice. Yeah, just all the best with
Good
it,
luck.
guys. Yeah, perfect. Well, look, quite a few little topics we're going to run through this week. So everything from how Instagram is testing a 4x5 grid, Pinterest's autumn 2024 trend report, TikTok growing its EU active users despite a US ban, YouTube expanding its Shopify partnership, Meta thriving despite Apple tracking issues, and a few other little secret topics sprinkled in there for you as well. Cool. So look, first things first is how Instagram is testing a 4x5 grid. So Adam Mosseri, I never know if that's how you pronounce his surname. So he's confirmed that the platform is currently testing a 4x5 feed as opposed to the traditional squares. Now that most content uploaded is either vertical video or 4x5 static. Thoughts, feels?
I've definitely heard mixed opinions on this. I think the move makes sense, especially with Instagram. The algorithm is shifting more towards short form content. So kind of having everything mirror in that 9x16 makes sense for the platform. But also, I think there's still some uncertainty around like how old posts are going to be displayed on the feed if everything then moves into that new dimension. And people have spent years curating their Instagram feeds. So I'm sure, the aesthetic is going to be ruined in some circumstances. But I do think going bigger on the feed is going to grab people's attention a little bit more, more room for storytelling and conveying messages. So I think that's a positive and it should aid engagement. But I think people don't like change sometimes. I think everyone's been used to the little squares, haven't they, for on their feed for a little while.
Meta loves change.
They do.
Exactly.
So there's always going to be something new.
For sure.
They do.
I mean, I guess it's kind of like, this is more like a paid social terminology from back in my paid social days, but it's kind of like, I guess you've got more real estate, like screen real estate to play with.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
As a brand, if you're posting on there, you've got more space for like different messaging and what have you.
Yeah.
I guess as well, like with reels, if you're watching a reel or whatever, you go back to that account's feed, it automatically defaults to that reel tab, doesn't it? And that's already in that kind of vertical format. So I guess users are somewhat used to it.
Yeah,
but
and it's more suitable for the phone as well. Like mobile, everyone's on their phones. Nobody really goes on Instagram on their laptops anymore. And well, unless it's work. But on the phone, it's so much easier to see. Like you said, it's giving it more space to have. And like for paid side of things, like we pretty much brief in all of our assets in that dimension anyway. So it doesn't make a difference for us. Like that is kind of our sort of BAU format we use. So yeah, I think it's a good thing.
We've only had like one team member within Organic have that test rolled out to them at the minute. So who knows? Maybe it's a bit of A/B testing that they're doing at the minute and it might not actually get rolled out.
Has it shifted the grid?
Yeah.
Oh.
And she doesn't like it.
Oh.
So we'll have to see. But it'll be interesting then the actions we need to take for all of our clients. Yeah. Depending on what it looks like and all the old, all the old.
Those briefs are going to have to change, aren't they?
Yeah.
Blimey. Okay, fab. So next up is Pinterest's Autumn 2024 Trend Report. So the platform's announced they've already seen an increase in searches for autumn aesthetics, activities and inspiration. I don't know if either of you have had a little look at the trend report just yet. If there's anything in particular that's jumped out that you want to touch upon.
I love a trend report for Pinterest. I think it's really cool because, people often go to Pinterest when they're searching for inspiration for like new events or like planning for the future. So it's really important to read those reports, even if you don't have clients on Pinterest, because quite a lot of the time, the trends that they predict within those reports, they're emerging trends that are later going to come onto other platforms as well. So really important for the team to read through.
Definitely. Yeah, I've had a look. There's the leopard print jeans.
But have they not been around for a while?
I feel like that's not a trend. That's like a future trend. But it's all about like cozy aesthetic, getting ready for autumn, like
very
my kind of vibe,
though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like nothing groundbreaking on that.
No.
Remind us, Lucy, of some of the more obscure ones.
Yeah.
So we've got there's this whole thing around layered imprints and puffs. So I guess puffer jackets, balloon skirt outfits. Let's not have a comeback for that one.
Is that
I don't know.
Bridgerton?
I don't. Do you know? I guess I don't know if this is the thing, but like I do remember there was a time, I want to say like mid-noughties, late noughties, where these like horrible jewel coloured like puffer skirts, very like the Saturdays-esque aesthetic. I'm pretty sure I had something and I wore it once and was like, that's never happening.
Let me get a pic, not right now for the podcast, but I will have to get a picture of myself because I went to a Saturday's concert dressed like that.
Yeah, you did. I'm really jealous of this. Okay, so we've got things like that. We've got foxy autumn hair and glowing makeup. I feel like that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Japanese inspired nails is up 600%.
Yeah, there's a lot of Japanese focus.
Interesting
items and areas there. So I think it was like the furniture.
Yeah,
Japanese
there's a whole
furniture.
Japanese living room design up 135%.
Yeah, a bit confused where it's all come from. From all my travel clients, like Japan is the biggest one at the moment.
Well, it says here, Japanese style is influencing decor trends such as Japanese vintage art. With searches for Zen house up 405%, people are looking for inspiration to balance comfort, style, and tranquility in their homes. So maybe it's just more of a kind of calming.
So people are stressed.
Aesthetic.
Yeah.
That is the insight, basically, isn't it? There's all sorts. And then the food ones always get quite fun as well. We've got earthy eats, jelly jams, and Tokyo treats. Wow. So people are apparently incorporating earthy ingredients such as morel mushrooms and pistachio butter to add depth and richness to their dishes.
What's a morel mushroom?
There's all sorts going on here. So of course, kind of book clubs, run clubs. I mean, there's a run club in every kind of corner of the earth at the moment, it feels like. All sorts kind of happening. So yeah, lots to kind of digest in Pinterest's new report and everything. Lots of good inspo, I guess, for kind of upcoming, I guess, paid social creatives, I guess, organic all social ideas.
Concepts, yeah.
Exactly.
The team will definitely be going through and getting inspired
by it. So yeah, definitely recommend taking a look at it if you haven't already. Perfect. So next up, we've got that TikTok is growing its EU active users despite the US ban. So TikTok's user growth is stagnating, particularly among younger demographics, due to the ongoing US ban conversation. Hence why the platform has resorted to initiatives like cash rewards for creators to join the platform. However, the latest EU report from TikTok shows that the platform had an average of 150 million monthly active recipients between February and July 2024, which is up from the 134 million it reported during the same period last year. So growing in the EU.
So it is growing.
Shrinking, I guess, a little bit in the US and everything. I don't know, kind of
thing
thoughts?
Is that scare, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's expected for people just to be uncertain about the future of the platform. But I guess, the growth in the EU user base just kind of shows the platform's adaptability and just the ability for it to still thrive in other regions despite what's going on in the US. As long as TikTok is, giving content to users that target their local interests and their local needs, then it's going to continue to thrive and grow in those regional markets. So I guess really important for brands to be aware of that and make sure that they're tailoring their marketing strategies based on those regions as well.
Definitely. I mean, I think Maria in the US side of the Social Shepherd, she's often said kind of the way users engage with brands on TikTok, for example, in the US is completely different to how we're used to users engaging with brands on TikTok over in the UK and what have you. So I guess, you know, it is really important as always. And I guess you more specifically really know this about kind of just really knowing your audience and everything and where you're targeting them. So yeah, I guess kind of just something to really be considering, you know, if you are a brand who, you know, you're looking to kind of raise awareness or, you know, achieve something within EU markets and everything, maybe TikTok is more of a place for you to kind of be investing more time and effort into. So yeah, definitely something worth kind of keeping an eye on as that no doubt continues to grow over time.
What are your thoughts on the monetization or
the cash rewards where they're trying to get creators on and they get rewards and everything?
Like, I just, for me, is that a bit more like short-term gain rather than a sustainable growth?
Didn't they start off doing, like when TikTok first launched, I remember seeing like TV ads and stuff, and they were really pushing people to go on the platform. I'm pretty sure they did like, add an incentive to do a TikTok.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like they do this with all platforms, don't they? Where there's, say like Threads, for example, when that was like struggling to take off. Like I'm pretty sure Instagram had some sort of initiative if you were a creator of sorts on the platform to encourage you to be using it more and everything. And it makes sense. Like if you're, you know, you work for a platform, you've invested all this time and money into developing something new for your users to engage on and with, of course you're going to want to see a return for that and everything. I mean, there are creators who do take advantage of these kinds of initiatives and everything. But I would agree, it feels quite short term and everything. It's not, I don't know.
They're going to run out of money.
Well,
just keep giving it.
I have no idea, to be honest with you.
Are they measuring that success? Like how do they know like what that's actually getting them? So like return on investment, are they seeing any value from that?
I guess as well, like I'm pretty sure they push that kind of, like if you are a creator and you jump onto something that you've received an initiative from the platform for, that content is pushed more by the algorithm. So I'm sure you then in turn start seeing more kind of reach and engagements and everything.
So maybe it's like a win-win for them.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it is. It's kind of, there's benefits on both sides to it. So yeah, I don't know. I guess
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, to be honest with you.
Maybe brands need to just approach that with caution. Just make sure that they're like partnering with the right creators. They
100%.
You know, the creators aren't there for the wrong reasons, and that they're still working with people that want to foster genuine connections with their audience.
So. For sure. Definitely. No, hard agree. Perfect. We've then got how YouTube has expanded its Shopify partnership. So talking of, creators will get access to thousands of new brands to tag in their shopping videos. So YouTube's shopping affiliate program gives creators a way to earn money. And YouTube has also announced that it's launching a new Chrome extension to speed up product tagging in videos. Becky, I feel like you are probably a good one to elaborate on this.
I feel like that's a really good thing to have that Chrome extension, because it just makes like user journey so much easier. So when they're watching a video, for example, we can just click it and it saves it kind of saves there in the extension. So you don't have to like go off it completely and then come back. So it keeps that user journey really nice and smooth.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's a really good thing, to be honest. So essentially, like the analytics side of things is really good because of that partnership between Shopify and YouTube. You can then end up getting like double the data. So that when you're looking at, for example, YouTube ads and the advertising side of things, the targeting you can use, and you can start to get a better picture of the demographics and sort of the type of audience you're targeting. So I think it's a good thing, definitely, from a paid perspective. And also just like a user perspective.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Katie, you're a lover of TikTok Shop.
I was just thinking, please no, not another platform for me to make it easy for me to spend all my money. Because I'm a sucker for online shopping.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it does say the expanded partnership will allow YouTube to be better poised to take on TikTok, which is reportedly aiming to grow its TikTok Shop US business tenfold to $17.5 billion this year. That's insane. And although TikTok is newer to the US e-commerce space when compared to YouTube, the company has been onboarding merchants at a relatively fast pace, as TikTok reported in April that it had 500,000 merchants in the US on TikTok Shop at the end of 2023, which is interesting because I guess if we touch on even like TikTok Shop for a moment and how like that's being heavily pushed by TikTok. I mean, I think you scroll every couple of videos and there's something being promoted of sorts, like some sort of TikTok Shop integration is happening there. So it'll be interesting then to see with this new Shopify kind of partnership and what have you that YouTube is taking on, how that's going to shift on the platform and everything. Are we going to see more shopping content on YouTube? Like what are the changes to the algorithm going to be there? Like what sort of content are we going to be seeing more of?
I would say it's also from like an other angle of it. Like I think YouTube's quite a nice space where you're not being sold things constantly and you're not in the danger of clicking and buying a £5 mug or something like that. Like you're there to watch the content, and you do get ads. Like yes, there will be YouTube ads, but you're not like forced into it. You can skip them, that kind of thing. Whereas I think it's a slight shame that perhaps YouTube is taking on the same role as TikTok and trying to push the e-commerce side of things straight away. And it's like a safe space for people to watch nice content. And
well, I was going to say, like, how do you watch YouTube? What device do you watch YouTube on typically, would you say?
Sometimes my TV. Yeah, my TV. If it's like a podcast or like a YouTuber, I'll watch it on my TV. Yeah, but to be honest, don't think I'd watch it on my phone as much.
Because I don't know about you, Katie. Like, are you?
I'm an iPad or a TV girly.
Okay,
it's on my phone if my iPad's out of battery.
Yeah, exactly. It's like last resort.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting, like if they're trying to build in this Shopify partnership onto YouTube,
how do you do it
because I would agree, like I personally, I know it's not necessarily always about your personal take and what have you on it, but it's like, personally, like all three of us in this room, we are watching it on TV and I'm assuming probably quite long form content. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what kind of brands, what kind of products are going to get pushed into that.
And I think just off the back of that, like with one of our clients the other day, like there was a whole campaign analysis. I wasn't part of it, but I was in there, and it was really interesting that literally about like 90% was TV watchers over everything else. So it is a case of it's not just us, like it's a huge part of
monthly reach of YouTube on a TV set is 18.8 million.
So like all those people, I mean, don't think there's a way of clicking on to anything from TV unless you've got a really, really smart TV.
I don't know, there's a lot more, I feel like there are a lot more
a way around
and features and everything. But then it's QR like, what does that take you to if you're watching on a TV?
Yeah,
you know?
I don't know.
And people's remotes, they're stuffed down the back of the sofa as well. It's not going to be a quick thing for them to start shopping.
Also, like you're just enjoying the content. You're enjoying just leave me to watch my program.
Exactly, just get it on the background thing.
But yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens again with this. I'm assuming kind of, these sort of things, they start initially in one way and then they'll scale into something else and everything. So we'll kind of see how that takes off. And then kind of final headline for the week is how Meta is thriving despite Apple tracking issues. So Meta's business is thriving despite challenges, particularly due to AI-driven improvements. The company's success, especially in advertising, is largely thanks to AI tools like Advantage Plus, which have helped Meta recover from Apple's 2021 privacy changes that initially hurt its ad business. A Meta-commissioned study of over 1 million US advertisers found that $1 of investment per advertiser will now generate $3.71 in return for that advertiser's business, up 12% since 2022. Each Meta employee, on average, accounted for more than $1 million in revenue in the first half of 2024, which is a company record. So again, I feel, Becky, you're probably best placed to talk about this one.
Yeah, I mean, AI has had a huge effect on ads side of things. And also, I'm a Meta girly. I love it. It's my favourite platform. Everyone I shout about in the office. I'm like, Google who?
Love that.
Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, so I mean, not recently, but I think it's been around for a few years now. But obviously, you have like ASC, which is Shopping Plus. So basically, it's where you have your campaign. This is on ads, by the way. It's where you have your campaign. And then it's essentially using Meta's machine learnings to find. So essentially, you can put in sort of a type of remarketing data. So for example, your past bookers or past website visitors or something, and you input that into the remarketing side of things. And what ASC does, it essentially expands out into, so you're not looking for not only your remarketing, but also your prospecting. So it's like a bit of both. Okay. And you can decide like the level of how much you want it to be on remarketing or prospecting. And I think also the other thing is that it essentially chooses so you input all your ads into it. So you essentially are asking Meta to choose, and it will deliver the correct assets to the correct audience they think is going to be suitable for. I don't know how it works. It's crazy. Like when you actually really sit and think about it, it's like, how does this work?
Yeah, of course.
But I think some part of it now, like I think very, very recently, Meta's kind of changed its algorithm. Okay. So in the way for ad side of things, so in the way that we used to be very much like heavily detailed, layered targeting. So you'd like be literally choosing someone who likes dogs, but also is married, but also is this, and you'd literally find them like granular details. That's out, really. Right. It's now all about that broad targeting. So you want to be giving it a bit of an idea of who you want to be looking for, but you don't want to be adding those restrictions because Meta finds the right people from that. So you don't want to like narrow that down anymore. So you would just kind of so for beauty, you would literally just do beauty and wellness. And then that's that whole realm of area that you can reach those people. And then the way that they actually find the targeting side of things is actually really interesting. It's in the assets themselves. So that's why nowadays, like your ad assets are so important. Like you can do this as much targeting as you want, but if your assets aren't working, they're not working. It's not gonna go. So essentially, it's all about the copy overlays, like making sure that they kind of cover almost like keywords, and the algorithm will kind of find those keywords and deliver it to the people that are interested in that kind of thing, and as well as your copy on the ad as well. So like your headlines, your description text, that kind of thing. So it's really interesting. It's completely switched. Like from when I first started advertising, like paid ads, to now is completely changed.
If you're a brand watching or listening to this, what sort of things do they now need to be considering when they're briefing an agency, for example, to build, ad campaigns or whatever for them? Is it now required that you have an increased volume of creative assets, for example?
Yeah, definitely, and a variety.
Sure.
A variety is like the key point, because you don't want to be just sending out loads of single images. You want to have a variety, so you want to essentially reach that sort of prospecting audience with a video potentially, and that video would be more about the brand messaging, sort of who we are, this is us. Are you interested? Sure. And then like the remarketing side of things, it would be more sort of single images, carousels sometimes, and keeping it really varied in that kind of format. And on your assets, having like I said, copy overlays are so important. Like you want to tell the user why you're sending them this ad, like what they have to do. So adding that CTA, really strong CTAs. Don't be too subtle about it. Just be quite obvious. And like I said, people in it, like that's a big thing now. So like the shoots without people, I don't know how it works. So you need to have people like models or influencers or creators in the assets themselves, because like I said, it's that relatable piece.
People want to see people.
Yeah, they do. They literally do.
Okay, well look, I also thought it would be quite nice, now that we've gone through all the different headlines, there's someone from organic, paid, influencer, different kind of levels of experience and what have you on the podcast today. And it just might be kind of a nice opportunity to touch upon how you actually got your role in social, I guess? Like, what was your career journey to getting here and everything? So it'd be nice to hear kind of, I guess, from each of you, like your background and how you kind of got to where you are today, and maybe kind of any tips for any viewers, any listeners who might want to be kind of getting their first opportunity in the world of social.
You go first.
I have a tendency to ramble with this type of stuff, so I'm probably going to tell details that the listeners don't even need to know. So Mariah, you might want to cut some of these out. So I went to uni and I studied writing, fashion and culture. It was very much based around journalism, a bit of styling, a bit of photography. It was really varied. So I left uni and I still felt like I didn't know what to do. I think many people are in that boat when they leave uni. I think there's this whole perception that people know what they want to do as soon as they leave school, they go uni and they know exactly what job they want to get into. But sadly, that's not the reality for a lot of people. So left uni, felt like I wasn't super skilled in one area. So I fell back into retail. I did visual merchandising for a few years, which was actually so much fun. And that was when the realms of like influencers started to become a thing on social media. So I've always really had a passion for social and, you know, being on Bebo and Instagram, Pixo, like anything that was online and was like the latest trend or platform, I'd be on it. So this was when like your blogger babes, like Sarah Ashcroft, when she first started coming around, I think she was doing blogging, like that Pommy girl. I would follow her. And I was like, oh, I want to get into something else from my current retail job. And I just went on Indeed. And then I was like, oh, influencer marketing executive. What's this? And I was like, wow, I didn't even realize there was a job for that. And I was like, I like influencers. Can I see if that's something that I could do? So I applied for it. And I made, as part of the task, I did like an email newsletter and some blog posts and stuff. And I tried to incorporate, like, make sure that those tasks were filled with my passion and like my knowledge of like all the different blogger babes that I was following. Managed to get into that. So my career started out in influencer marketing. Then from there, I went into influencer marketing manager for it was an app. It was a real small business, and it was an app that used to pair local influencers with local hospitality businesses. And then
I feel like I remember this.
Yeah. It was good fun. But then COVID hit, got put on furlough, and obviously all the hospitality restaurants and spas, everything like that got shut down. So so then I was forced to look for a new job elsewhere. And then that's where I came across more so a social media manager role. Fell into social media, and then here I am. Years later, have kind of made my way up, and now I'm looking after the team.
Social director as well, which is amazing.
Funny, but it's good. I feel like having that influencer marketing background has really helped me with the organic social side of things, because that's such a huge role and of, you know, a lot of our client strategies as well for BAU. So that's definitely helped to get me to where I am today.
Nice. And how about you, Becky?
So bit of a different route. I didn't go to uni.
Nice, fair enough.
So
not for everyone.
I weirdly had an obsession with ads from the age of like 7. And
what? Said no one ever.
This is the nerdiest thing I've ever said. But like, you know, when you watch TV, you want to watch it for the TV.
Sure.
I'd be excited when the ads came on.
Oh,
no,
I
I'm
love
not even
that.
joking. Like, still to this day, to be honest, I watch them and I'm like, oh,
what's your favourite ad? TV ad?
I always found Coca-Cola really interesting. All the psychological side of it, like where the red's being like put into different areas and how you're thinking about it. Anyway.
Love that. Gosh, I've really learned about you already.
So I've always had like an interest in advertising. And for some weird reason, like no particular reason, I just knew I didn't want to go to uni. Back in the day, I probably wasn't as academic. And I knew I probably wouldn't force myself to sit down and write a however long essay. I could now though. But so that was kind of in my thoughts. I knew I didn't want to go to uni. So I ended up actually going for an apprenticeship in digital marketing. And I had done the 6 months at college and I had kind of learned all the bits. And I just needed to stay in my placement for a year to cover it. My placement made me redundant.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'd learnt all the stuff, but had nowhere to go. So sort of a mutual friend found me sort of, they were currently working for an agency, like a little tiny agency, now they're quite big, but in Devon, just a little seaside town in Devon, just hidden away. And they took me under their wing, and I was their first employee. And I learned so much from them, honestly. Like, ended up working with some incredible big brands, and learned so much from that job. And I actually started in organic. So I was an organic girly. And I basically, and it was very much their sort of clientele was literally just hotels and resorts in America, like very niche, but pretty cool. Ended up going to America for one of the trips, which was really cool, for a little photo shoot. Amazing experience. And kind of worked my way up, and I was social manager, and then COVID hit. And during that time, I decided that I had no sort of qualifications in it. So I actually took my Chartered Institute of Marketing qualification. So I qualified there, alongside full-time job, which was stressful.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. 5 a.m. starts.
Sounds intense.
Working my lunch break, working at home. Yeah. I got through it though.
She's a grafter.
Yeah, good for you though.
Thank you. And then basically moved up to Bristol, and essentially I decided that I just got qualified, so I was like, I don't want to lose this. So I actually freelanced and volunteered for the year, helping with different charities and stuff during COVID. So it was really cool working on some campaigns and bits. Like, I was pretty new to it all, but just as a nod, in that last job, I started getting interested in ads. So I was the boosting girl, they called me.
Yeah.
So I do loads of boosts for them. And fast forward, I basically ended up, obviously COVID kind of finished, got a job in another agency. And that's where I started as a paid social manager, and worked there for a year, and then moved here. And
just got promoted. We love that.
Yeah,
amazing.
That's my story.
So good.
What about you, Lucy? How did you get into
I also went to uni. I did film and media communication. That's actually not technically what my degree is, but I just say that phrase. I'm not gonna lie, I reflect back now, and I don't think I really needed to necessarily go to university to do the role I'm in now and everything. I did learn lots from it, and I did get to study some really interesting things that did spark a bit of kind of interest. It was more so I was doing a lot around celebrity culture and women in the media and things like that, and I really enjoy kind of the research and writing about it and all that kind of thing. But one of my modules whilst I was at uni was a creative enterprise module. And like you, blogging, YouTube, all of that, I was literally consuming all of it at this point. And I made a blog. I
had a blog too.
Yeah,
what was your blog
about? I had many blogs. I'm not going to lie. I've had a real blogging journey.
Mine was a beauty blog.
Yeah, I had a beauty and lifestyle blog. I've had all sorts, basically. But
we need to try and get them.
Yeah.
They're definitely hidden somewhere on the internet. But yeah, I did this blog as part of one of my modules. And it was all around kind of working with local independent businesses and everything, and interviewing them and promoting the content. So basically building content calendars and writing and publishing and social media promotion and all this kind of thing. And I was like, I quite enjoyed that, and I did well in it somehow. Anyway, long story short, graduated. I really struggled to get a job after university in whatever field I thought I was going to work in. When I started university, I thought I was going to go into film and TV. Mm-hmm. I came out of it and thought I'd actually quite like to get into social media or marketing of sorts, but I just didn't really have the right sort of experience, or I didn't think I did. So I spent a year full-time in retail, which was really hard. But in the meantime, applying for loads of jobs.
We've got very similar stories.
We do. And I was very, very lucky. A year later, someone took a chance on me and I started as an acquisition marketing assistant. So it was more of a digital marketing role. So I was doing lots of like email marketing, SEO, paid social, things like that. Within 6 months, became an exec and started to move more into content marketing and managing like YouTube channels and video campaigns and things like that. Was also managing a pool of content creators at the time. And that then developed into influencer marketing. So I like made a case to the business of we should be doing influencer marketing, and somehow managed to get budget for it, did a test campaign, and it like did really, really well. And then kind of just literally went from there. I was in that company for 4.5 years, and then went into a new role in an agency. So I went from client side to an agency, which is not very common.
No.
Was a social media manager for about a year or so there. Was really good experience, but I kind of learned social media management is not what I want to do. And an opportunity came up here to go into influencer marketing, which was what I was far more interested in and everything. And yeah, the rest is history, I guess.
Here she is.
I know. So wow. And I guess kind of we've all kind of touched upon different, points of entry, I guess, to all of this. I guess like, results day and what have you is all been happening more recently. And I guess there might be some people watching or listening who are thinking maybe they didn't get the results they wanted, or
don't worry.
Maybe they've got like children who just got the results and now they're off to university or whatever it might be. And I mean, I guess to get into this kind of industry, what are your thoughts on whether you actually do need to get a degree?
You just need passion. You need drive, and you need interest, like genuinely, and the rest will come. If you have that interest, you'll be doing research, you'll be learning more about things. If you have the passion, you'll keep it going. You're like, I'd honestly just think, don't worry if you didn't get into uni or if you didn't decide to go to uni, because like, I also look back, I've got 9 years experience in social and I'm 26. And I think that's crazy sometimes. Like I forget that. And it's because I didn't do the uni route. So I started at 17 and just worked my way up. And I think, don't worry. Like there's so many options. Definitely.
Yeah, I massively agree. Like, cannot stress enough, you do not need a university degree to work in social. Like you said, all about the passion. And I think something that would really make you stand out if you were looking to get into social media, especially if you were applying for a role as a social media exec or a social media manager, it's not always possible for people to do work experience because, they have to do it alongside a full-time job to live. But grow your own social channels. If you've got an interest in, biking, knitting, celebrity gossip, turn it into a TikTok page, like fuel that passion and anything that you're interested in into your own social media accounts and use that as like your own portfolio. So even if you don't have access to work experience or working for local cafes and brands, anything like that, channel your energy into your own social channels.
Idea. Like when I did a lecture recently at my old university. Lots of people came up to me like, how do I get into this? And that was quite similar to what I was saying to them around like building out a portfolio.
Yeah.
Like fortunately they do actually now, as part of the requirement of that degree, they have to create portfolios of all the different kind of work they're doing during their degree, and create something quite visual. But I was also kind of saying exactly that, if you're really interested in marketing and social media, influence marketing, a subject matter, creating your own social media platform of sorts, so whether it's on YouTube or TikTok or wherever it might be, and showing that passion or getting a bit more creative with it so that you've got something visually to show to companies that you're applying to roles to of, hey, I don't have all this work experience, but here's just a taster of what I can do. I don't know how to wrap this up now, but hey ho. Well, anyway, thank you for listening, watching, wherever you have been engaging with this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it.
On TV.
You might have been watching this on the big screen on your TV at home. Exactly. So please like, comment, subscribe, all the bits and pieces if you want to be seeing more of this. And we will see you soon.
Bye.